so here we are with a new episode of Dagon Pack News, or DPN for short. Kappa Pride. Kappa fucking Pride. All right, so our first news story. So y'all probably saw this, right? Steam, for the first time ever, had 20 million people online on Steam at the same time, which is a lot. That's a lot of people, right? Of the 20 million, 6.4 million people were actively playing a game. And actually, out of that 6.4 million, just over 1 million of those were actually playing Counter-Strike, which itself set a record. A brand new record. It's the first time in its history that's ever surpassed that 7-figure milestone. So that's kind of crazy, right? You think about it, this is huge numbers. And of course, this is all being driven by coronavirus, right? Like, everyone's being ordered to stay home. And so, like, what else are we gonna do? Aside from fire up Pornhub, we're gonna get onto Steam and play some fucking video games, right? So that's what's up. Other top games that were played were Dota 2 at 700,000, Rainbow Six Siege at 196,000, Path of Exile, which was at 115,000. I knew it was a popular game, but that one actually surprised me. And Grand Theft Auto 5 was at 173,000 people. So it's a lot. It's a lot. Of course, you know, the number's probably going to rise as more people are advised to self-quarantine, right? Like, as this progresses, hopefully it doesn't get much worse, but I mean, let's be honest, it's looking like it will. It's looking like it will. The number is actually probably going to rise. So expect to see a lot more of this in the news about, you know, concurrent users on these platforms getting higher and higher, right? So anyway, we will see. I will say that one official at Valve headquarters was quoted saying, "I love coronavirus." I'm just kidding. They didn't actually say that. So before Valve sues me, let me make it perfectly clear that nobody over there actually said that. But it's interesting, with so many people actually being on the platform at once, someone finally realized that Steam Big Picture mode hasn't been updated in 84 years. No new updates for Big Picture mode. Feels bad, man. It's not getting any love at all. Next story is RingFit Adventure has been sold out pretty much everywhere at all major North American retailers for over a month now. You can't find them anywhere. So you can actually maybe find some on eBay, but the price has been extremely jacked up because of the limited supply. You know, it's funny, trying to find this game now is like trying to find a good Sonic game released after 1994. There just aren't any out there. And it's not clear if the shortage is actually related to coronavirus because Nintendo hasn't commented. We don't know. It seems like the shortage was actually already happening before the coronavirus situation kind of got out of hand. So it's going to be interesting. It's super unfortunate, though, because right now, RingFit Adventure is more useful now than it's ever been, right? Because a lot of gyms are being forced to close and everyone is being advised to socially distance themselves. So, like, if you were ever to want a workout at home kind of solution, now would be the time to have it, right? And so now when people need it most, they can't get their eyes on it. Can you put the ring in your butt and do the exercises? You could certainly try, May. And send us back the results. A report only, please. Not the whole results. So, someone actually it's a fan-made browser game that lets you plan out your Animal Crossing New Horizons island, right? So you actually load this up in the browser, and it shows you the like default New Horizons island, and you can place trees and rivers and buildings and basically like pre-plan everything that you're going to want to build on your island. So the app is called Happy Island Designer. And it's available now if you want to try it out. As I said, it's an in-browser game. That's not to be confused with an in-Bowser game, which is something like completely different that Twitch won't let us play on stream. Twitch has beat Breath of the Wild against all odds. So this was a Twitch plays where Twitch chat plays the game, and they were playing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So this was done by Twitch streamer Point Crow. This is actually the same streamer that cleared Breath of the Wild without walking, only using jumps and hops and all sorts of weirdness. Never walked in the game and beat the game doing that. So in this event, there are about 600 concurrent viewers participating. It unfolded over the course of about 25 hours. There's estimates that chat was in control for about 17 of those 25 hours. The rest of the time, Point Crow actually took over. And before you say that that's cheating, many oftentimes Point Crow was actually trolling chat, putting them in way more difficult positions for them to get themselves out of. All in all, over the course of these 25 hours, Link only died about 80 times. Which is really sad when I think about it, because that might be less than my death count when I played Breath of the Wild. So, yikes. So Point Crow would take over the game every few minutes, basically. Essentially, it was like you made lots of progress and had to hand over the controller to your little brother, you know, so he could have a turn, right? Except in this case, your little brother had multiple personality disorder, and every single one of his personalities were terrible at video games. So, that's the thing. It is amazing what people can do when they come together. Like, falling to their deaths 80 times. You never gave your brother a turn, you just gave him NyQuil? That's hilarious, Dammy. So did y'all hear about this? Did y'all hear about this? So there's a Twitch streamer. His name is Brian MP16, and he was playing the GameCube version of Animal Crossing. And there's an item in the game called the post model that costs 1 billion bells, which is the Animal Crossing currency, right? So basically what Brian did, and so far as we know, he's the only one that has ever done this, because it's fucking insane, is he basically played the stock market, which is like a cute take on investments in Animal Crossing. And he actually did it. He actually, through hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of gameplay, actually managed to save up 1 billion bells and actually bought the post model legit, which is just fucking insane to me. Absolutely nuts. Although, on a technicality, the in-game item actually required 999,999,999 bells, just rounded up by 1. So technically, he didn't actually become a billionaire, more like a millionaire. In any case, this whole thing was achieved through a combination of brute force and determination. 2 things I never thought would be associated with Animal Crossing. So have y'all ever heard of this? Have y'all ever heard of this game? It's called The Longing. So this game is very unique. It takes place over the course of a year in real time. It takes over a year to complete the game. To be precise, it takes 400 real-time days in a dark and confusing cave system in order to beat the game, right? So I'm sorry, but like, anyone who chooses of their own accord to play this game is not allowed to make any negative comments about being bored, staying at home due to coronavirus. All right? You're not allowed to say anything. If you are doing this to yourself, not fucking allowed. All right? So, the game has activities like painting and reading, which makes this game an awful lot like a retirement home simulator 2020. So, I'm really selling this game, right? You guys were really wanting to rush out and get it right now, huh? Also, the character in the game is called The Shade, and he has a lot of tea to spill. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Okay, y'all might have actually heard about this one. This one is actually really big news, right? So, an EVE Online player thought no one would notice if he hauled $5,000 worth of items. And he was very, very, very wrong. Oh, so very wrong. So the player's name was Lactose Intolerant. And he was ambushed by other players while he was hauling a lifetime's worth of treasure in his Orca. So the ship that you see there on the screen, that's an Orca. It's usually a large-scale mining fleet support ship. But it has a huge hold, and so people will often use it for transporting goods from point A to point B. The thing is, if people are carrying 500 billion ISK worth of goods, ISK is EVE Online's currency, they don't normally do something like this. They'll usually get a ship that's like really fast and stealthy and, you know, hard to target and that sort of thing because you don't want to get ganked and lose all your shit. But oopsie daisies, he did. He absolutely did. The worst part is that not only did he lose $500 billion worth of ISK, or about 5,000 US dollars worth of stuff, most of it was destroyed. The vast majority of it was destroyed. Only 2 things actually dropped from the destruction of his ship. And it was essentially 2 blueprints, which are used for crafting in the game. That's it. So the vast majority of the value just went up in smoke. Up in absolute smoke. Typically, when you're doing runs like this, you would be flying manually. And like paying close attention, making sure you don't get ganked. He was on autopilot, which is very slow and very dangerous, especially dangerous when you're carrying all this stuff. So I don't know what he was thinking. I can tell you that Lactose Intolerant he's taken an indefinite break from the game. He's taking it rather difficult. He's taking it rather hard. So yeah, it's super duper unfortunate. It's just crazy though if you think about it, right? Like, going around EVE Online carrying that much on you and putting that much at risk is kind of like Batman getting mugged and carrying the entire Wayne fortune in his wallet. You know, it's just doesn't make any sense at all. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. I don't understand. Y'all might have heard about this. Pokemon Go temporarily won't make you leave the house due to coronavirus. So Niantic, the company that runs the game, is temporarily increasing habitat so trainers can see more monsters while playing closer to home. They have given a 99% discount to these things called incense packs, which basically increase monster spawns. And when they're active, they're now going to last longer than they otherwise would. And also in this update that they've issued, coughing and wheezing have both been removed from the game as they are being tested for coronavirus. That's not true. It's not true. But essentially now, all the Pokemon will come to you. It's basically the digital equivalent of not taking the trash out and attracting large amounts of rats. They just like all pile up. They're like trying to get into your house. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. You open your door and this is what you see. It's not good. That was the new Dagon Pack news. What did y'all think? Give me your honest opinions. Yeah, like and subscribe, like Ants says. Now say my opinion is your opinion. Comment down below. Tell me what you think.